Welcome to homework.
To change word descriptions of chemical reactions into balanced equations, the first step is to identify the reactants and products, and then write a skeletal equation that finds formulas for each substance. Finally, the equations are balanced to ensure that conservation of mass is demonstrated. So, for example, if you have a reaction in which hydrogen sulfide burns in oxygen to form sulfur dioxide and water vapor, these are the substances involved in the chemical reaction. Hydrogen sulfide is a compound that has H plus and S minus. So to make that a neutral compound, it needs to be H2S. And we know that that's a gas because the reaction occurs in gas. Plus oxygen, which in a chemical reaction is always the diatomic molecule O2, also a gas, to form sulfur dioxide. Because it has the numerical prefix here, we know that that means there's one sulfur and two oxygens. Di means two. It's also a gas. And then finally, water vapor. Vapor is another word for gas. So we've taken the words and written them as formulas. The next step is to balance the equation. See that there are two hydrogens here and two hydrogens here, one sulfur here and one sulfur here, but two oxygens here and three oxygens on this side. So to balance, we find our common denominator here, which gives us now a total of 6 oxygens. To balance on this side, we'll put a 2 here and a 2 here for 6 oxygens. This now gives us 2 sulfurs and 4 hydrogens, so subsequently a 2 here. And that's the balance. For our next question here, we have potassium chlorate is heated just above its melting point. It forms 2 different crystalline compounds, potassium chloride and potassium chlorate. The word crystalline indicates to us that it's solid. Potassium chlorate is an ionic compound made up of the K plus ion and the ClO3 negative polyatomic ion. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio. So our reactant is KClO3 solid. Reacts to form the two products. Potassium chloride is an ionic compound made up of K plus and Cl minus. Again, a 1-to-1 ratio, so KCl solid plus potassium perchlorate. K plus, and the perchlorate ion is the ClO4 minus. So the compound is KClO4 solid. And the equation, seeing 1 potassium here and 2 here, 1 chlorine here and 2 here, but 3 oxygens here and 4 here. So again, we follow using the lowest common multiple. I'll put a 4 here and a 3 here to balance my oxygens. This gives me 4 potassiums and 4 potassiums on this side, and 4 chlorines and 4 chlorines as well. When hydrogen gas is passed over powdered iron 3 oxide, iron metal and water vapor form. So hydrogen gas, again, is the element H2. Just like oxygen, it exists as a diatomic molecule, plus powdered iron 3 oxide. Iron 3 means that it has a +3 charge, and oxide is the O2 ion. So the formula for iron oxide is Fe2O3. Because it's powdered, it's a solid, It forms iron metal, which is just iron. And a metal is always a solid, almost, plus water vapor, which again is H2O gas. And when we balance this, find that we have 3H2 plus Fe2O3 makes 2Fe plus 3H2. Equation talks about combustion. Combustion of gaseous ethane forms carbon dioxide and water. Ethane is an organic molecule, a hydrocarbon, that has the formula C2H6. The other reactant in a combustion that is not explicitly stated is oxygen, or O2. Carbon dioxide is CO2 plus water vapor H2O. Balancing combustion reactions can be a little tricky. There are 2 carbons here and 1 here, 6 hydrogens here and 3 here. The trick comes in that I have an even number of oxygens on this side and an odd number of oxygens on this side. So you may go through and start off putting a 2 there to balance the carbons and a 3 there. But then you see that you have 7 oxygens on this side, which I can't do with the O2. So you could write it in 7 halves, which would give you numerically equivalent. And then, but to get rid of the half, we then multiply everything through by 2. So it's going to be 2, 7, 4, and 6 are the correct coefficients. And finally, iron 2 chloride is converted to iron 3 fluoride by treatment with chlorine trifluoride gas. Chlorine gas is also formed. Fe2Cl minus makes a neutral compound of FeCl2. It's not explicitly stated, so I think I'll assume it's solid. It's treated with chlorine trifluoride gas, so that's another reactant. Because it has a numerical prefix, I know there's 1 chlorine and 3 fluorines. And it makes iron 3 fluoride, which is Fe3 plus, and an F minus, or FeF3 plus chlorine gas. And chlorine gas is another element that exists as a diatomic molecule. In the equation, we see a 2 and a 2 and a 2 and a 3.